Medina Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, MILE.
Assalamu alaikum. Firstly, I would like to say that for myself and on behalf of my organisation, it is an honour to be here and to participate in this programme. As we get the presentation started up.
Should I do the PowerPoint?
Just the PowerPoint, yes please, thank you. We've discussed many topics over these few days, and recently, probably in the last 10 years, there have been advances in technology in which the hospital building itself, the hospital facility, can play a much bigger role in providing and improving patient care and improving productivity in the hospitals, which again links to the whole cost of providing healthcare, and I think links to everything that we've been talking about in this programme. I'm very fortunate in my role. I get to work with some of the leading healthcare organisations around the world, and I'm privileged that I'm able to gain some sort of insight and understanding into some of the global best practices, which I would like to share with you all here today. We should start by just describing what we mean by an intelligent infrastructure. What we mean by that is the power, all the temperatures, heating, controls, ventilation, air conditioning, lighting, security, the life safety, specialist systems in the wards. Very important area, the ICT, the data centre. In the future, by 2050, 60% of all data centre space will be electronic health records, and other areas such as the operating theatre. And the concept here is to bring all of this together in a system of enterprise management, which in effect creates a more intelligent facility, almost like giving it a network of individual brains, allowing it to function more intelligently. Some of these systems you'll be familiar with as visitor management, the complete patient healing environment, infection control systems, noise monitoring systems, and staff support systems. And a little bit more detail in terms of what we mean is all these various systems, technologies, things that you can see, things behind the wall. It's designing them in such a way such that as we use these technologies, we use this information so that these systems can share information and start to function more intelligently to support the patient and the staff and the families. One such example of this, before that little interruption there, in fact it was in this morning's presentation, we saw at the International Medical Centre how an advanced system of anti-infant abduction, of baby tagging, so that's one example. Life safety intelligent functionality, where if there's a life safety event, the building can start to function by integrating the alarm systems with various other systems, such as the ventilation systems, the lighting systems to light up areas for evacuation, and overall notifying security staff, notifying facilities staff that there has been an event. Within the patient room itself, there's so much now that technology can provide to provide a better healing environment for the patient, allowing the microclimate to be monitored, the bed management systems, nurse call systems, and lighting, and complete patient environment, including their IT, access to the internet, and access to entertainment, provided in an environment where the patient has more control, and studies have shown that this can actually increase the sense of well-being and improve patient outcomes. In the operating room itself, a critical area of any acute hospital, again, facilities can now be provided to provide greater availability of power, integrate this with the heating, ventilation and air conditioning controls, such as when the surgeon walks into the operating theatre, it knows through the scheduling system what procedure is to take place, and the room is in the perfect condition to commence that procedure, and the surgeon doesn't have to go through all those hassles of getting the room to the right conditions or contacting engineering staff or any of those things. Asset management, this is the fastest technology, facilities technology growth area. In the world, it's going to go from 10% to 60% in the next 5 years. And a lot of time is wasted and cost is wasted in hospitals because people just simply can't find things. And so this is a way of being able to find things more quickly, being able to inventory things better, and being able to reduce any theft or disappearances of expensive equipment. The human interaction with these systems is very important. Although there is as much automation built in as possible, it's essential that we build an infrastructure so that humans can interact efficiently with this. So there will be experts that interact with the system, energy managers, security staff, IT managers and IT directors, and then such as the nurses themselves, fire personnel and surgeons, and the patients themselves as well, and of course then health authorities and health management, in a complete integrated system so that they can interact and view and change information that is relevant to them in a manner which they can do so efficiently. If we consider the healing environment for a patient, with the patient environment, certain areas can be improved through technology, and the most major area is the area of infection control. Now, all hospitals, especially hospitals in hot countries, have build-up of bacteria in their ventilation systems. This is a typical example. The cooling coils, a film gathers around all cooling coils and prevents the efficient flow of air, and then bacteria flows down the ductwork, distributes right throughout the hospital, and enters the respiratory system of the staff and patients who talk to each other and breathe. And this is how one way where germs are transmitted and infections can occur within the hospital. One way we can combat this is to provide ultraviolet lighting in the ventilation systems. This has a double effect. One effect is it kills 99% of the airborne pathogens, but it has the other effect of increasing the efficiency of the cooling coil, because air can now flow through the coil and the coil can transmit its cooling effect more efficiently, and improving the efficiency by 77% just for the cost of that one small design change. A case study of this was at the hospital in Queensland, the Charles Gardner, where the return on investment for this technology on an existing hospital was as little as 15 months. And that was purely on the cost of the energy savings. If you added the cost savings from reducing the average length of stay and reducing infection control and the increase in reputation for the hospital, I think it would be a much shorter payback period as well. Just an image of what that would look like. Probably the air we're breathing now is the stuff on the left, I'm afraid to say, but certainly on the right. So you can see the difference from the study. Another big area of infection control reduction is automated hand hygiene monitoring, where the washing of hands by staff is monitored automatically. So the member of staff comes up, washes their hand with the fluid, puts it underneath a machine, which gives them indication that sufficient cleaning fluid is on the hands. A bedside unit then detects the amount of cleaning fluid on the carer's hands as they approach the patient, and a badge worn by the carer, if insufficient fluid is detected by the unit, a badge will illuminate and vibrate, make a noise, and the carer then has to go back and wash their hands again and repeat the procedure. In the Miami Children's Hospital, this reduced overall infections by 67%, and some types of infection, like urinary tract infections, were reduced by 100% completely. There were no more. As you can see, and 1,000% increase in hand hygiene observations. One of the reasons for this is an effect called the Hawthorne effect. This was started in the 1930s in Chicago and the automotive industries, where they noticed that simply by observing people, and when people knew they were being observed, they started to behave completely differently. Another big source of infection, again I have to say, in warmer countries is Legionella building up in the cold water systems. One way of combating this is to use intelligent valve technology and automatic flushing systems. A case study for this was done at the Central Manchester University Hospitals and Liverpool Broadgreen in the UK. And in an ongoing survey at Central Manchester, there has been a 100% elimination of waterborne bacteria through the intelligent flushing systems. Now, the idea in good design with an intelligent infrastructure is to bring these technologies together to provide an integrated system of infection control that the carers can use efficiently. It's not about technology only, it has to be about the people and all the things we've been talking about here. And again, an intelligent touchscreen staff base, all the facilities, all the things that can affect the patient, all on one simple touchscreen. This is available technology today, some of which we are even helping the ministry design into some of the new medical cities here in Saudi Arabia. The patient healing environment is another extremely important environment where all the aspects that the patient experiences, including noise, can be monitored to provide a complete condition of care for the patient so that the patient can receive the correct environment to help them recover as quickly as possible from their ailment. One case study in the United States where simply the control of daylighting was monitored and regulated, a 20% reduction in pain medications having an effect of a reduced average length of stay was recorded. Another area linked to noise monitoring is sleep fragmentation. Hospitals between 1960 and today's hospitals have become more noisy by up to 50%. This is mainly due to equipment, noises, electrical systems, staff having different technologies. And as we know, noise affects, you're all mostly medical people here, they lower your oxygen saturation, your respiratory rates, and many adverse effects due to fragmented sleep. And if we look at how that affects individuals, it's more of a personal thing. So at certain decibel levels, certain individuals will be far more likely to suffer fragmented sleep, therefore recover less quickly, therefore cost the healthcare organisation or the insurance organisation more money. One solution to this is a simple solution using microphone audio monitoring technology linked to a simple visual display. And so when noise levels are an acceptable level, borderline level or unacceptable level, procedures can be implemented to reduce the noise that the patients are experiencing. One case study, again in Queensland again, at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital, an enforced 1.5 hours a day quiet period where various measures had to be taken, provided a 50% reduction in noise levels, and patients were twice as likely to be able to get a good period of undisturbed sleep and having that positive effect on their blood pressure and the other physical effects. Some case studies in terms of environmental sustainability, projects carried out at the Quiron Hospital Group in Madrid, Spain, where an intelligent infrastructure was deployed to provide various forms of efficiency and metering, providing a 17% energy saving and 20% capex, meaning the cost of installing these systems was saved. Another study from Sweden where 3 existing hospitals were taken and an infrastructure was deployed. This resulted in, as you can see, a 28% energy saving. And this particular project is used as an example of best practices by the European Union, and all the costs of the measures taken to make these savings were paid for by the savings, and the risk was taken by our company Schneider Electric. So in effect the customer paid nothing and now receives savings and has a reduced maintenance cost because they have new equipment now that doesn't break down. On capital cost, a study of a project in Texas, the Flowermound Hospital, where bed management and elevators came into it again, and this produced a 12% capital cost saving across all these technologies. So the message is clear: you can have a better infrastructure and it may even cost less. On that particular project, the reasons for the savings were due to streamlining of labour and project management. And going on to the data centres, most people might be familiar with these types of buildings. It's where all the computers are and the racks are. And usually you cool the room, but there are technologies where you don't cool the room, you actually cool the servers and blow air across them. This has an effect of reducing the footprint of the room and results in energy savings. And again, we've done studies where new hospitals that haven't been built yet, we can prove the energy savings by using advanced energy modelling techniques where we run and simulate the savings. And this was a study we carried out on a typical hospital, and as you can see, 32% savings across the various forms of energy consumption in the hospital. And that leads us to finish off with a holistic care model where the data centre, the doctor's surgery, new technologies used throughout the departments to monitor the patient journey combined with telecare will be the technological infrastructure of the future. And the only thing we need to remember is to get the design process right, where we bring in the design development earlier on in the project, and the 5 main reasons why we would want to implement an intelligent infrastructure, as you can read here. But I would say that even though most of you are medical professionals or CEOs or owners, only 5% of hospitals implement these designs, because we leave it to the engineers and they just blow the dust off the spec and they don't bother. They're not incentivized to do it. So we would like to appeal to you for us all to work together to try to push for these things to be included and for us to provide better care and better productivity in our healthcare systems. Shukran. Thank you very much.
Medina Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, MILE.